Painting of children in pastel. My name is Shondell Joyce, and I teach classes every Wednesday night on Zoom. Check them out on my website, shondelljoyce.com. First off, I'm showing you the palette according to the values. So the hardest pastels are the darkest, and that's value 5. These are value 4 colors. It takes a while before you can start seeing color as value. So I always do this sketch ahead of time and lay out the palette I plan to use. That way I spend a lot less time hunting and pecking and looking for that perfect color. I have all the colors set out ahead of time. A few minutes worth of preparation will save you hours of time when you're painting. And painting time is precious, so we have to use it wisely. So I have lots of 4s, some 3s, and then a lot of 2s. So this painting is mostly 2s and 4s and values. On the lightest side, I have warm and cool lights. So notice for the one, I have pure white, then I have a cooler version, which is light blue, and a warmer version, which is light yellow. And I do that with most of the colors. So I have shadow and sun colors for my figures. Once I've established the palette, the painting process goes quickly and smoothly. I start off by laying in the darkest darks. So the darkest darks in this case are the hard dark pastel, and it's the pattern of darks. Now notice that most of the darks are connected, just as most of the lights are connected. They're in a pattern, and you want to capture that pattern because that pattern is what leads the eye through the composition. So once established, then I work my way methodically through the values, starting with the darkest dark and ending with the lightest light. So here I'm putting in some of the blues. This is the cooler dark. Next I put in some of the warms. And this is like a dark mauve, and it's the warmer dark. And I use a few different techniques to lay in the pastel, side strokes, face strokes, and sometimes linear strokes. Once I have the pattern of darks established, then I'll scumble other colors on top. So now I'm starting with the 4s, and again, working my way methodically through the composition, getting each color down before I start the next. I'm going warm, cool, and from dark to light. So now I have most of the 4s in place. I'm going to start with the middle values. These are the 3s. They're not dark, not light, somewhere in between. As I put it in, I look for other places. Where else can it go? This helps me to create color harmony through the whole painting. The paintbrush is an eraser. I lift up the pastel out of the tooth of the board. I'm using ampersand pastel board. Okay, so now I'm laying in the middle color on the fence. And I have all the 3s in place. This is the midpoint. I usually step back at this point and just assess my values. They look good. I had a moment. So now I'm moving to the 2s. The sky is going to be a little darker overhead and then gets lighter around the figure. I bring the sky color down into the boy and create some color harmony so that it pulls your eye through the whole composition. Next, I want to start with some of the darker color on the grass that's nearby. And then as I use it to negative space paint around the forms. And now I'm putting a lighter color towards the horizon. That lighter color helps to create the illusion of perspective. It's always lighter at the horizon. I'm also using it on his clothing as usual. And I'm bringing it through on the figure of the girl as well. It's more of a highlight color on her figure. Now to the lighter colors of yellow and green. So this yellow helps to create the illusion of perspective. The grasses are warmer behind the fence. I'm kind of making that up because I want to simplify the background behind the two figures. No need to have so much detail. Once you have your focal point, you don't want to have anything else compete with the focal point. Now I'm putting in some of the warm twos. This is a very light pink color. You see it on the backs of the hats, on the girl's flesh, on her legs, on her shirt quite a bit, and even a little bit on the fence. The flesh color is a warm color. Now I'm coming through with something that's a little bit cooler. No, that's a little bit warmer. And it's going on the fence, on the hat, I'm filling in the rest of the sky. And I'm using the light blue as a highlight color on the back of the hat. It's a shadow color. There's always a little warmth that reflects up from the ground into the shadows. So you'll see a little pink in the middle of the blue shadow and so forth. Also on the figure of the boy. So I'm working that light blue all the way through. I don't want to get caught up in the pattern on the clothing. So I use it to create texture. Here's a close-up of the hat so you can see the light and cool. I'm just giving the impression of the texture of the clothing and the patterns. I'm not going to try to get too detailed. That's distracting. Pretty much covers the boy. He's ready for highlights. I'm insinuating fingers, don't want to get the details of faces and fingers, bringing a little bit of the cool blue onto the girl's hat and even onto the girl's figure. So this is a highlight color on the little girl. It's a cool highlight. Next, I'm starting with a warm highlight. Now, the warm highlight is where the sun is hitting the two figures. So this helps to really break up the masses and create a sense of where the light is coming from, showing the form, the rounded form of the legs, the rounded form of the hat, the brim, and so forth. So this is the warm highlight. We just did the cool highlight. Want to make sure I get that on the fence. Sides of the legs, backs of the legs. Next, I'm using pure white. Now, this pure white is a neutral. It's not warm, it's not cool, but it helps me to get the form of the hat. So I'm creating the shape, the blocking on that hat, the blocking on her hat, the negative space shapes on the checked shirt, and some of the other highlights that are not necessarily warm or cool. So this is more of a neutral white. And it's basically a finishing touch. Once I put the highlights in place, I've worked methodically from dark to light, and there it is. Voila! Join me for online classes. Check out my website for the full list. Thank you.